Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Pete Dahlgren, and I am working on the F-86. And as a lot of you guys know, I've gotten a lot done. And again, I'm using the wing for a workbench. But what I'm doing today is fitting some really cool, intricate parts before I start getting into the brass nuts of this thing and actually start putting in the lighted head, which is a really cool little deal, and putting in a lot of details. You'll notice that I've got a cardboard cutout that I am getting ready to do. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to transfer everything from the ejector seat, which is primered. It's not painted to the right color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start glassing these parts. Now, I started messing around with different ideas, and this is the one that looks the best to me. And it'll look great once I get all the rest of it in. It is square. It looks real good. I did round off some edges and stuff like that. And then I'll get ready to do a little bit of filling, and then I will make this all just one nice piece of fiberglass awesomeness. And the reason I'm doing it is because it's really, I'm trying to add a little bit of weight for ballast on here to get the nose weight up without adding a lot of lead in there. So I'm actually going to transfer that to this, and we will actually have a metal instrument panel and with certain gauges. Now, I am using iFly Tilly stuff, and this is one thing that I really love on this, is because now that I've got this pretty much all dialed in, I can start getting a lot of these other details in. And as you can see, this really, with the pilot in it, it just looks like he's ready to go to war. And when these are all painted up and detailed, this is going to be a spectacle. You know, I apologize for all the dust, but it has been dirty in here. We've been sanding like crazy and doing modifications, and just the place is thrashed. Okay, so anyway, I'm just killing a little bit of time while I'm waiting primer dry. I got my wing over here done. It's drying out, and I'll let that set for another good day. And you can see how this is actually the second sanding. You know, I did a lot of filling on this wing. I didn't want to have to do it that way, but I did. And you can actually see where it is actually done. I got some sanding to do up there. Not a big deal. That it's all going to have to be primered about 2 or 3 times in order to get where it is. So I started panel lines on the other one, and I've still got a lot of sanding work to do. But while I'm doing one thing and waiting for another to deal, I'm still moving on other stuff. The cockpits takes a lot of time to do them and make them look amazing. And as you can see, it's already looking really cool. I've got it primered in there now. I've got a lot of stuff done, getting all these other parts done and built. There's an awful lot of sanding work to do in here. And I want to incorporate some of the rivets and screws that are actually in with the mirror set. And I'm going to show you guys how I did this. And when I did my Spitfire, I was able to add a lot of really cool details by just simply adding screws and panel lines and things like that. And it worked out really well for me. Saved me a lot of time, and it actually looked amazing. If you guys have not seen that, look it up on my Facebook and look at the actual Spitfire build. But this one is really going to look cool. I mean, these seats are neat. They're big. So there's a lot of parts in there that are going to be very easy to do. All the screws, these things will be all touched up. They'll be done and possibly even weathered a little bit. Not going to go to a total amount of extremes, but I will have the side panels made, and it'll look like when he's in there, it's like he's actually able to fly it. Now, I did spend a little bit extra so I could get the premium stick. I like it a lot better. It looks great. And the interior part of this will be gray, but there's going to be an awful lot of black in here. There's going to be a lot of black in there, and there's just going to be a lot of tubes and things like that. I'll Dremel out for the bent tubes and all that stuff like that. And then, of course, we will be bolting certain areas of this, if not all of it. And it kind of depends on how easy it's going to be to get to the screws. I don't know. So I may or may not do a lot of them. But what I might do is just add a lot of other little details and things like that that it does need to make it awesome. And I will do it where you're actually looking in it, but I may not get all the way back around in there. I think that's just going to be a little bit overkill. And anyways, I am moving forward, and I got a guide that I got to put in that. And that's actually a cap strip. That's just an aluminum angle that I'm going to put over the top, and that's for, it's going to have a channel cut in it for the guides for the canopy to keep it from wandering. It's supposed to sit like this, and it'll close all the way like that. But if you don't have the guides in it, it adds a little, it gets a little bit wacky. So anyway, I got to do that, and I'll keep this, you know, in check as well. So anyway, that's where I'm at. And details, lots of work, some repair work to do. As a lot of you guys know, I changed the skag. That's getting ready to be sanded out and redone. And if you guys are not real familiar, I kind of did this on purpose just so I could show a couple of you guys on the panel lines. This is how much this, I just did a little bit of it. And that's what the panel lines will look like on this once they are from this to that. And they are crooked on purpose because that's actually a painted line. And then all these others will be done like that. But when they are painted, they look a bit like that. They look real. So you're going to see the panel lines. And this was kind of the whole deal on there. And I left them there so I could touch them up. And I don't recommend cutting into your fuselage to revamp it. You know, I did it only because there was a few little things that I noticed that I didn't like about that skag on the back, and I wanted it solid anyway. So I opted, go ahead and cut it, reglass it in, and do it. And as you can see, it was a mess. And so now this is getting dried out. I'll let this dry overnight again, and I'll come back and wet sand this down and do a little bit of filling. Most of this will fill out. There's a couple runs in it, no big. But anyway, I started some panel line drawing on this side, and I'm gonna have to come back and just take care of a lot of this. And a lot of the stuff I'm doing on this thing is kind of a pre-weathering, because we are going to, it's going to look like a war machine. So it's going to be a really cool, exciting part of this build. And as you guys can see, she's coming right along. And I do not recommend using your wing for a workbench, but I'm kind of limited on the space in here. And doing that's just a matter of convenience, and it's not a good practice. So anyway, just before anybody says anything, I know better, and it's fine. I'm killing it here. So anyways, that's it for today. And it's like I said, once you get into, I wish I would have wiped this off. Once you get in and start looking at things and what they're going to basically be like, you're going to be looking at things going, oh yeah. So this stuff will be in here glued. There'll be a little cap strip over here. I'll take some tubing, wrap that in that. I'll split it, glue it in there for a welding. There's a lot of detail going into that cockpit. And there will be some filling and other things going on. So fear not. We're just, right now all I'm doing is mocking it up. I will do the final sanding and final fitment of everything before it's actually in fact glued in. And everything is tack glued in here. The reason being for it is because I needed to make sure these parts get a little heavy. And I needed to make sure they're right. And cockpit tubs are not exactly the easiest thing there is to make. And especially when there is not one for this airplane yet. So I just kind of went by what I knew and what I've done before and used my prior experiences to make this thing actually look and act like it's supposed to. And these actually do fit in there a lot tighter, guys. This just needs to be a little bit of finesse sanding and little things like that. Other than that, she'll be fine. And it'll all be it'll all look really decent. Once the windows and everything are in, you're going to see a pretty amazing looking little cockpit in there. And I'm doing this, and just so you guys know, these kits are available through iFlytillies. They are about $400 complete. I bought mine in sections so I could go ahead and get other things done. And once it is completed and done, then it'll be neat. And that does not sit like that. I need to start gluing these parts. I just haven't done it because I wanted to make sure that I had everything else and everything fit right. So this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And there will be some more changes to the jet. And noticeably, I might even do some more work to that tail end. I've had a lot of guys commenting on it, and it isn't exactly correct. So I may go ahead and make that, do some more work on it, and get this thing done. The jet's big enough to where the more I do to it, the more I change. So it's a matter, and on a matter of fact on this, guys, I'm not going to change anything more on the back. I pretty much have not given up on it, but I'm not going to correct the tail. It is what it is on that. This is a sport jet. It was never intended to look like a Tomahawk or anything like that. It never was. So this is where it's going to be. It's where it's going to live. It's going to look amazing. And, you know, it's about your imagination and how far you're willing to go. But I do want to show you before we go the difference in that skag. If you guys have seen that, in that skag right there, does improve the look of this jet 100%, which made me almost go back and cut the back of the airplane out and actually redo part of it out there. But since I am building the A model, that is very close, and so I'm not going to get overly excited about it. There comes a time where you got to fly the jet. I don't want to spend another year on this thing. So, I mean, I'm getting to the point now where I'm close, getting things done. This thing is going to be cool. And with that being said, I'll leave you guys with that thought. And we'll get on with a lot bigger things and brighter horizons and start making things look really amazing on this. And it's going to be all details at this point, guys. There's hardly any building left. I'm not even going to... The wing tanks are just something you're on your own with on that. I'm going to finish them up, get them done and primered when I can. Right now, I want to get the jet built. I've got a lot of other things going on. And with the wood shortage here in this state, I don't even know if I'm going to even get the other one done for quite some time because it's getting too hard to find stuff for everything. So anyway, my focus is on getting the main jet built. And so I'm doing that, and I'll see you guys in the funny papers.